All right, what's going on, people? We are back once again, as always. JV Wins, Dogon SS. Kicking it with you, got that flavor in your ear once again for another edition of Conscious Approach on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much to everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. Before we get things kicked off, as always, I want to say to make sure that you check us out on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. You can also check out some of our content on TikTok at Conapproach, CONAPPROACH, just trying to be available in any and all places possible. To anybody who is not very familiar with what we're doing here, this is how we like to kick it. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment, let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any of our pieces of or any of our other pieces of content on the channel. As we continue to flesh things out, we have a decently large video library at this point. It continues to grow and get bigger, but there's a decent backlog of, I would say, quality content overall that you can immerse yourself in if you are so inclined and find yourself with a little bit of free time and want to check those out. So, to everybody who has already become a part of the Conscious Approach tribe, and to everybody in advance who will become a part of the Conscious Approach tribe, thank you very much. Just want to always get that out there because we do appreciate the value of your digital currency. We never take that for granted. Now, we're going to go ahead and get things kicked off with a little talk about today's economic state within the context of music. There were some interesting comments made by the CEO of Live Nation, who's catching heat due to him claiming that, contrary to popular opinion, the prices for concerts and live shows is actually cheap. He claims that it's underpriced. So a lot of people took exception to that. They feel some type of way about those comments, that it's dismissive towards working class people and people who have to kind of not perhaps not struggle to make ends meet, but nevertheless people who have to work for a living to make it. Discretionary funds in order to spend on things like going to live shows and concerts isn't as readily available as this individual may believe it to be. So he's catching a little bit of flack for his claim that going to concerts is actually an affordable endeavor because concert tickets are actually underpriced. So this says Live Nation CEO blasted for arguing that concert tickets are underpriced. Live Nation CEO Michael Rapino is coming under fire on social media for his comments on ticket prices at CNBC and Boardroom's recent game plan conference. At the event, he argued that concert tickets are actually underpriced, despite complaints from fans. In making his case, he compared attending a Beyonce concert to going to a New York Knicks game. Music has been underappreciated, he said. In sports, I joke it's like a badge of honor to spend 70 grand for a Knicks courtside seat. They beat me up if we charge $800 for Beyonce. We have a lot of runway left. So when you read about ticket prices going up, the average concert price is still $72. Try going to a Laker game for that. And there's 80 of them. The concert is underpriced and has been for a long time. Cut it out, N word. People used to spend $70 to see Michael Jackson in his prime, one user wrote. Another added, no, they actually aren't underpriced. Y'all overcharge for everything. One more argued. Everybody ain't a CEO like you, Michael. People are struggling, and you and your buddies want to price gouge to boost profits. People want to be able to go to concerts. This is a troubling time for a lot of Americans because of bills, the cost of living, the lack of jobs to help with the cost of living. According to data compiled by Pollster in 2024, Rapino's estimate of the average concert price being $72 is somewhat inaccurate. Measuring the top 100 most popular concerts in the United States from that year, the outlet priced the average cost at $136. This further fails to account for ticket scalping, which is a major concern for keeping concerts affordable to the average fan as well. Live Nation has previously faced a lawsuit from the Department of Justice over alleged antitrust violations, as well as a lawsuit from the Federal Trade Commission for allegedly hiding fees from customers. The company denied both claims. So This is this fella here, Michael Rapino. Um, this N-word stuff, it continues to baffle me. It's a side note. I'm going on a tangent, but just to the person who commented calling this person the N-word, I just thought that that was weird. But that's an aside. I don't want to get us going off on a different path other than what we need to be talking about here. So this, Rupino believes concerts are underpriced, and he is basing that off of the cost of going to a Knicks game or a Lakers game or something like that. And a lot of people took exception to what he had to say. What did you think about what he had to say?
I think that's really a apples to oranges comparison. Relating it to Knicks tickets or Lakers tickets or something like that. It's good mental gymnastics if you're the CEO of a company that overcharges people. It's a nice little way to get some grace, get some wiggle room in the mind's eye of people who aren't critically thinking. And I think that's what his approach is for making statements like that for people to go, you know what? He actually has a good point there. And yeah, it has a good point if it was an apples to apples comparison, but it's really not. So I think that, of course, as a CEO, he is doing his job in ensuring that people continue to buy concert tickets at elevated prices. And actually, he's built in with this excuse a little wiggle room to actually overcharge you more. So I think that this is actually smart on his behalf. But of course, I personally think he's wrong. And I think he's just saying anything to line his pockets. And I think the internet's outrage, I think they got this one right. So the internet, they're back on the good side of history again. Every once in a while, you know, every once in a while, their outrage is selective and a little too enthusiastic for something that doesn't really call for that. But in this case, where people are upset about these concert prices, much like the price of everything is just going through the roof. So I'm honestly not surprised that concert prices are what they are at this point. But be that as it may, uh, uh, shame on this Rapino guy for trying to, pull a fast one on me. I'm personally not having it. I don't think anybody here at the conscious approach is having that either. But what are your thoughts, man, on this Michael Rapino saying that, hey, these concert tickets are actually underpriced and you can get cheaper tickets to go watch a Lakers game, and there's 82 of those. What are your thoughts, man?
It definitely is mental gymnastics for sure. He's trying to gaslight people
Yeah.
into having them think that they're thinking about the pricing of concerts in the wrong way.
Mhm.
His analogy of, well, his comparison of NBA games is to me stupid. That's like saying, would you rather get burned by rolling on hot coals, or would you rather get burned by running through a burning building? In any event, I don't want to get burned. So can I have option C?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If both of them are overpriced and expensive, one doesn't negate the impact of the other. I don't want to pay for either of them because they're both are overpriced. What point are you trying to make here?
Mhm.
So that comparison, of course, doesn't wash, but he's looking at it through the prism of the target market that he ideally envisions patronizing his shows, which are in effect people who don't work for a living. That's my opinion. I believe that. I believe that the vast majority of these CEOs, if they had it their way, they would be able to exclusively market to people who have all of the discretionary income in the world to patronize their product and not have to rely on the business or the patronage of people who have to work for a living. The problem with that, however, is people who work for a living comprise about 75 to 76% of the population. So if
Mhm.
you limit yourself to the people who are financially free enough to be able to, engage in these leisurely hobbies with impunity, you are alienating the vast majority of the potential business that you have before you. So obviously, I'm no MBA grad or I'm no super expert, but basic math tells me that that's the bad way to do business. And so since you do have to rely on people who work for a living, because that's the majority of the population, it would behoove you to not alienate them by being honest enough to just admit, yeah, if I had it my way, we'd only be marketing to people who can comfortably afford what we have to offer, and we'd be, ignoring the rest of you brokies out there because we don't care about y'all.
Damn brokies.
Yeah, we'd be ignoring the rest of y'all brokies because we don't care about you anyway. It reminds me of okay, so Jurassic Park. This might be a vague reference if you're not old enough or otherwise unfamiliar with the movie. But in the first Jurassic Park, the one from 1993, I think,
Hmm.
uh, when John Hammond invites all of the people to preview the park before everything goes AWOL, before things go crazy,
Hmm.
and he has the lawyer there and they're discussing the park and the dangers and the risks and all of that kind of stuff. And the lawyer is sitting there going, "Oh man, I can't wait for us to be able to make money off of this. We're gonna make hand over fist by charging XYZ." And John Hammond is like, "Well, we want to make Jurassic Park affordable to everybody, not just the rich people.
Hmm.
Let's make sure that we keep that in mind." And the lawyer's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 days a year we'll have a coupon day." So that all of the people who can't afford what we want, so that all the people who can't afford what I want to charge us will be able to come and enjoy it once or twice. I
Hmm.
think that's the mentality of most of these people.
Hmm.
These people don't care about people who work for a living or people who may have to save a little more to and scrounge a little more to afford the cheaper ticket or the nosebleed. Yeah, they'll accommodate those people as they come in because they want to be able to fill up the building. But these people don't care about working class people. They just care about the people who have the discretionary income to be able to splurge on tickets that are hundreds of dollars. If he had it his way, just like the rest of these individuals in his position, I believe that they would be exclusively um, excluding people who do have to work for a living, and basically opening it up to everybody who can comfortably afford. If he can fill an arena doing that, I believe he'd do it, and others in his position would do it for sure.
Hmm.
Logistically, numerically, statistically, it's not possible. So you basically have to just do the best job that you can to implicitly market to who you want, but also doing what you can to not overtly alienate everybody else so that you can maximize on your potential gains.
Hmm.
But I think the response that people had towards his comments was that feeling of exclusionism on his part and others like him, because it's very clear and obvious at this point, and it has been for a very long time, that working class people are not the top priority for people in his position.
Hmm.
He brings up Laker tickets costing however much they cost. If he could get away with it, he'd charge $800 for a Beyonce ticket.
For sure.
He would. And he's probably speaking from a place of jealousy, quite frankly, that the NBA can do it and get away with it, and he can't. Because I
Hmm.
guess more brokies want to go to a Beyonce concert than there are brokies who can be able to comfortably afford to get into a Knicks game unless they're sitting in the nosebleeds.
Hmm.
And from what I've seen with the Knicks game, even nosebleeds are expensive.
Yeah.
Everything is expensive now. I was looking at Heat season tickets not too long ago, and a package for seats in the 300 level and the 400 level is almost $1,000. So everything's going up, and I do think people's response was appropriate. These guys don't care about working class people, but of course they can't say that because it'll look even worse than making stupid comments like this.
Yeah, man. And wow, what a movie that first Jurassic Park was.
Classic,
Uh,
absolute classic.
man, I must rewatch. I constantly quote stuff from that movie all the time, man.
Yes, yeah.
I always do. I always do that, man. Hysterical, man. But just imagine, movie people, people in Hollywood saying, you know what, these movie prices are too cheap. Hell, if you go to a L.A. Chargers game, You'll be paying $300 just for a seat, and you only watch that once. Whatever. What kind of logic they want to use to overcharge me to watch one of their goofy movies? And so imagine if everybody ran around doing some stuff like that, comparing stuff that doesn't even deserve comparing.
Exactly.
And so that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know where. I mean, I'm sure he just pulled this out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure one day he thought that this was a bar, and he's like, you know what? Hell, while he's sitting courtside, hell, people are complaining about Beyonce tickets. I spent $7,000 on this courtside right here.
He envisions he envisions the same exact target market for his shows being the target market for NBA games. That's what he wants. Like that's what his best case scenario would be. The same clientele that goes to a Knicks game or a Lakers game is the same clientele that goes to a Beyonce show.
I mean, as much as I love athletics, if the tickets aren't what I call affordable, I'm not going. I don't care how much I love the team or whatever. A few years ago, man, I went to quite a bit Hurricane games across the nation, man. It was pretty fun stuff, man. And the average ticket that I spent, I would say it was like 120 bucks, but I was getting good seats, man. I
Right.
was
Yeah.
I was lower bowl. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? On the side of my team. You know what I'm saying? So I was getting some nice tickets. Now there was a couple places where it was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna have to get the nosebleeds here. Texas A&M in particular. But and that was a pretty lofty ticket, but not really. So I was like, well, hell, I'm going to all these college games. Let me check these NFL prices. I'm talking about the worst seat in the house. They were charging $300 for. And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not spending $300 to watch the Dolphins lose. Like, I'm not doing that. Hell, I'm not even doing that to see them win. I wouldn't even pay for that for a playoff game. Like, I'm not paying that much to watch sports, and that's my everything. So, for people out there that spend, because there's people out there that spend those tickets, bro. They, eight,
Yeah.
$900, $1,100, $1,300, to be up there to see Chris Brown or Beyonce or something. Like, people be doing that, and people go to multiple shows, bro. People be following them around the country and doing all that stuff. So there is a pocket of people that are really avid concert goers still to this day, even though I felt like it fell off a little bit. Now, there's still people that's willing to make those trips because that's their sports, that's their athletics. That's them following their favorite team around. So I kind of get that, but at the same time, it's not. It's a completely different field of entertainment, and the prices have been what they have been for as long as they have been that way because it made sense. And so for you to start upping the prices to compare it to other forms of entertainment and say, well, they're charging that much, why can't I? It's a lazy argument. And even if there's some people that's hard up for these, to go travel and see Beyonce or travel and see Cardi B, whatever your thing is, all right. Um, at some point there is going to be a breaking point where people want to look, you know, I spent $600 last time on these tickets. And y'all trying to hit me over the head for 700-800, like y'all keep raising these prices. I'm not going. At some point somebody's going to look at this and go, I'm not spending $300 on a Dolphins ticket. Basically, that's my point. As much as you love that person, as much as you enjoy being around other like-minded fans, at some point it becomes not worth it, especially when everything else is going up, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And for that dude that called Mr. Rapino the N word, talking about the Michael Jackson in his prime was $70. It's like, look, bro, let's adjust for inflation. let's adjust. But even if you adjust for inflation, maybe that still is pretty affordable. But yeah, man. The internet is going to have their way with these types of things. But these CEOs and these fat cats at the top, they're not going to stop. They don't care what us people say. And as you mentioned, they're trying to set a line or a precedent or a standard for their concert goers moving forward. And yeah, they're trying to turn concerts into premium Lakers tickets,
That's
playoff
what
tickets.
yeah, exactly. Yep. That's
And
what
listen, I don't care how many pyrotechnics you got going on. If Beyonce is being carried by a crane in a damn Oldsmobile. I don't care what kind of crazy stuff y'all got going on. Nothing is worth these prices, if you ask me. But hey, those things still be packed out. So it looks like they're not they're rubbing the, like you mentioned, the brokies the wrong way. And
yeah.
there's still going to be people that are paying because hell, when I look at those prices, last thing I'll say is I was looking at was that last year I was looking at tickets for Texas versus Georgia when Georgia came here, and the cheapest ticket I saw was like uh $800-900, maybe it was in the thousands. That was the cheapest ticket. Clearly it was resale and all this other stuff, but that was the cheapest thing. That place was packed. It was packed. It was sold out. So people got them. I don't know where they're coming up with it from, but people ain't broke yet, I guess. So if he is trying to move the goalposts, I guess it's an ambitious goal of his, and maybe he'll strike with this. But me personally, I think it's too much. I feel like every industry swinging for the fences at this point, but concerts not worth it for me personally.
I think people are more broke now than they were before. I think the difference is now because of the way that things are economically,
Mm,
everybody pretty much has just decided, okay, my entertainment budget will allow for what one or two activities versus like I feel like in the past people had enough in their entertainment budget to accommodate several different things that they wanted to do. And
mm,
I think now it's been narrowed down to like one or two things. So for a lot of those people, their one thing that they will allocate their entertainment budget to is college football games. But you won't see them doing anything else. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that's I think that's where most people are today who are working class people, people who work for a living. I
Mhm,
think it's what is the one or two activities that I am willing to, allocate my disposable income to. And it used to be like maybe six or seven different things, but now that amount of activities has diminished because there isn't as much of a surplus of funds to put there.
mhm,
Um, and I just think that these individuals do not care about working class people, and while not caring, which I don't even think is a secret. I don't think I'm saying anything controversial by saying that. And also at the same time, just like there's social deconstruction, certain elements of society's attempt to deconstruct certain social norms that we've always come to accept as normal, to sort of build them back up, to basically not have a meaning at all, or to just reinvent the meaning so that
mhm,
other things can be accommodated in the process. I do also believe that there's a such thing as economic deconstruction. The difference between social deconstruction and economic deconstruction is we can do something about social deconstruction if enough people speak out against the things that they don't like. You can make enough noise about certain things and be active in certain respects that you don't have to see the pendulum completely swing in the direction that you don't want it to go when it comes to a lot of these social norms that certain people and groups and communities are trying to create. But when it comes to economic deconstruction, there's not much that we can do because you can't do anything about capitalism. You can't really do anything about the rising cost of goods and services. It kind of comes along with the territory. So because there's not much that we can do about economic deconstruction, there's also not much that we can do that is going to be able to stop individuals like him from creating a narrative which suggests that certain amounts of money that we always used to be perceived to be a lot or affordable is now different. So, like, I think there's an effort to totally reinvent what the definition of affordable is. So
Mhm.
if to you $1,000 or an $800 ticket to Texas, Georgia is expensive or too much or not affordable, I think what individuals such as Michael Rapino would like to establish is a new baseline of understanding, which suggests that $800 is in fact affordable.
Which is insane.
I think that that's where we're headed, though. I think where we're headed is just a completely new definition of affordability. And that doesn't mean that people are keeping up with that in a commensurate fashion, because clearly a lot of people aren't. It's just to say that that's what the new definition of affordability is going to mean due to the way that things are continuing to rise in cost. So concert tickets, sporting events, even though sporting events are already overpriced, the
Yeah.
idea the idea is that the idea is that a Lakers game or a Heat game or a Knicks game that is $500-600 for a ticket is in fact typically priced, not overpriced.
Hmm.
If you believe that that's overpriced, you have the wrong idea of what overpriced actually is.
Yeah, that's great. I'd rather watch it on TV for $500.
And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to that. But I do think that I think that that's where that's headed, and I do believe that that's these CEOs and these people like this, these companies with all of these streaming services who keep raising the damn fees every year, even though you're getting nothing back in return. You're just paying more for the same stuff. That's it. It all works in concert with one another. It's not that it's more expensive. It's just that you have to keep up with whatever the new definition of affordable is. So good luck to everybody out there, man. That's why, we readily talk about certain aspects of economics on this channel, more specifically ways that you can kind of keep up with this stuff. Because if you're complaining about it in an effort to stop it, you're wasting your time. Some of these social movements we can complain about to slow them down. But when it comes to this economic stuff, in my opinion, it ain't slowing down. So get ready for $1,500 average price tickets to Texas, Georgia within the next 3 to 5 years. And don't fix your face to say that that's too expensive, because by then that will be what affordable means.
It's ridiculous, man. And yeah, it's really becoming a luxury situation to go to a damn concert.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Or a game. I don't even think about a Dolphins game. Get out of here.
it baffles me. It really does. When you see some of these stadiums on Sundays, I mean, packed to the brim, and them tickets be, the cheap ones are 280, and that's way at the top. But if you want like lower bowl, something decent, it's five, $600, $700. Like, I'm like, who's paying that? And if I want to go with my family, or if I want to take, somebody with me, like, we're spending collectively, if it's three of us, it's $2,100. What? No. I said I'd rather use that to pay rent, pay rent, pay my stuff, get groceries. Like, it's really becoming a situation where it's become a luxury thing. Like back in the day when cruises, like only the people that can really afford it can go, type of thing. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be this gate put up on across all industries where, because everybody is living the way that they are right now, that everything is going to there's going to be this like exclusive type of way, like only, you know you can only afford it once a year, or
Yeah.
only the people that really got it can go, and everybody else, is out here like damn, asking for porridge in a bowl. It's disgusting, man. But yeah, me personally, man, I'd rather watch it on TV. I'd rather watch it on an app or something. You know, that's not my thing. But for the people out there that are concert goers, I feel for y'all, because it sounds like this guy's going to start jacking it up even more.
Yep. And you can always get away with it because you can just attach it to the rising cost of goods and services or the cost of living. Like that's why I say economic deconstruction is it's an unstoppable force. It's an immovable object. You can't really do much about it, but trust and believe. If this guy had it his way, he would be offering a coupon day a couple times a year for the
Coupon.
brokies. Yeah, and otherwise he'd be charging those outlandish prices to target who he really wants to target to go to all of those shows because that's how they prefer.
And shout out to Jurassic Park, man. To hell with this Rappaport guy or whatever his name is, Rapino. The hell out of here, man.
Classic stuff.